Not quite as important as StarCraft. Not many things are as important as StarCraft. It's more important than food. It's more important than sleep. I'll cast StarCraft before I do pretty much anything else. I'll always choose StarCraft over the necessities of life, except breathing, because I can't cast unless I can breathe. So it's kind of a catch-22, you know what I mean? But speaking of casting, let's talk about this game of StarCraft. Spawning in the lower right-hand corner of Dragon Scales, we have none other than the Protoss Phenom for Storm Gaming, MaxPax. His opponent in the upper left-hand corner. In the red, you know him, you love him for Team Liquid. It's Clem. It's very interesting. There was a lot of P's in the words that I said when I introduced MaxPax, but they all sounded different. The Protoss Phenom for Storm Gaming. 3 different ways to pronounce P. Storm just has the P there. It doesn't even do anything. It doesn't even affect how you say the word. It's not even like the G in lasagna, which arguably isn't silent. What do you guys think? Is the G in lasagna silent? I say no. I say the G is not silent because without it, you wouldn't say like nya. You wouldn't make the nya sound. I say the G and the N combine to make that sound. Therefore, it's not silent. But some people disagree, saying that's the N making that sound. Just because the G changes how the N sounds doesn't mean the G is making the sound itself. You know, I think that's fair. I think it's a fair way to look at it. It's just not how I view it. But, you know, it's a question for you guys. These are the important things you need to talk about at the start of the game. Because, you know, certainly there's not a ton else happening. Although MaxPax is being very annoying here, as he's wont to do. Sending the Zealot across the map. The repair on the SCV is quite good. But now the Adept is here. The Adept decides to leave. Alright. Reaper has come home as well to help try to clear this out. Some nice micro here from Clem, pulling back that Hurt Marine, knowing that MaxPax is going to go for the kill. Ooh, can this bunker actually finish in time? The answer is not quite. It looks like one Marine should be able to sneak in there. The Hellion going to push this away. CC finishes as well. So MaxPax's annoyance is moderately successful. But really, Clem, I think, does a great job defensively against it. You know, we've seen MaxPax just dismantle players at the early game. But as we've talked about already today, these guys have faced off against each other so many times. This year has really felt like a year of Clem versus MaxPax, especially in this specific Open Cup, where at least one of them has been in the finals every week for the last, like, 4 months. But they've faced off against each other like a dozen times in the finals of this tournament. It's wild, actually, how often they fight each other. So they're very familiar with how the other one plays. I don't think anybody can handle MaxPax's early game shenanigans as well as Clem can at this point. Now behind this, all this annoying aggression, MaxPax does have Blink on the way. He's got the Prism coming out, and it looks like this is a 3-gate version, which I think MaxPax is maybe a little more fond of. He'll often get very aggressive with it, but it makes it a little bit easier to take a base behind it. These Hellions, though, trying to be annoying, maybe stop any probes from coming over here. They certainly won't be helpful against the Stalkers in the main base. But that is where MaxPax is going. He's got the Stalkers heading across. At the same time, though, Widowmine drop coming out. It looks like going to get some kills. 7 probes going down as the Hellions dive into the natural as well. But now, does Clem have enough to hold this back at home? He does have the tank in a nice little position here. Some bio units struggling to get into the right position and deal with this. Stim feeling very vulnerable at the moment. So far, Clem doing a good job. Oh, and yeah, good cancel there from MaxPax. Doesn't want those extra stalkers to warp in, not with that siege tank in such a good position. Pulls back. He is going to warp it down on the low ground, but he is taking that third base. Clem getting those probe kills is huge. The 7 probe kills from earlier means that Clem's actually ahead in workers right now, and because of the delay on this third, very bad for MaxPax. Clem also very buttoned up down on the low ground. He's brought that second tank down. He's got double bunker here. And there's just not a lot of area for MaxPax to play with. This is, again, Clem knowing who he's playing against, knowing how to deal with MaxPax's shenanigans. And so far playing it perfectly. But it's not over yet. MaxPax gonna blink a few stalkers up to the high ground. He's got that observer there to spot that there's no units nearby. Tries to get the supply depot, but doesn't quite kill it. And actually, the SCV is going to save it. Clem, so far, so good. Hasn't spotted this observer, though. That's a very important thing. MaxPax has great vision of what's happening, but the vision is showing him that he probably shouldn't attack that direction. So he still is kind of just forced to chill. Loses a stalker even, inching a little too close to that tank. The third CC only about halfway done. Finally, that observer will get scanned and killed. But MaxPax is now mining more than his opponent. We'll see that just a moment here. It'll come back down towards MaxPax. But we see Clem had the advantage for a long time. So when that third finishes up, he should still be in a very decent position if he's able to take it pretty quickly. Stim is done. Combat Shields is almost done. The fact that MaxPax wasn't able to snipe that Stim is very, very important. As medevacs are coming out now, and it's going to be a lot easier for Clem to push this away with Stim. Stalkers really don't want to stick around too long. They can pick off a couple of units here and there, but the bio can be very, very strong against them. MaxPax, though, he's already on to the next stage. Charge is done, and he's getting ready to send some zealots into this natural base. But can he hold this push that's happening at the same time? He knows it's coming. He's trying to get a Colossus out. Even one Colossus will be huge here. MaxPax has a bit of an army back at home. If the Stalkers can join up with this, he might be able to be okay. Turns on the Guardian Shield. The tanks are sieging up here for Clem. He's trying to push through. But remember, he's got to deal with these Zealots at the same time. It looks like so far, the Zealots haven't gotten too much damage done. His Natural's a little exposed. And the Prism took some damage, but it's going to get into the main base. Clem trying to deal with this, but at the same time, MaxPax wants to push out and clear this push. Like Clem will finally handle his stuff back at home, losing 4 SCVs. But it also drew a lot of his attention, meaning this push suddenly feels a lot less strong. Zealots coming down. There's a Colossus here still. The Stalkers blink on one tank, the other one getting killed. And Clem's going to have to back on out of here, just trying to stutter step against these Zealots. With the Stalkers blink forward, they're going to kill the medevacs, almost. And they'll finally get them both. Clem is forced to stim again. No healing anymore. And MaxPax will push him away. Take that 4th base. Now, MaxPax has a few more workers than Clem, but he's not on like a huge economy right now. Clem is actually doing just fine economically, especially as he drops a couple of mules. Clem's actually up in army supply right now, so this is a bit of a problem for MaxPax. Yes, he pushed that away, but I don't know. I guess the trade's still in his favor. It just feels like Clem's honestly just doing fine. This doesn't feel bad for Clem at all. The Colossi do make it a little more complicated, but I did see some Vikings in the production tab, so those should be out fairly shortly. Mine's getting spotted here. Marauder's trying to run forward. Clem's got to be careful. He's losing a few units here and there. Oh, and MaxPax gonna blink in, hitting the left side. There was a big concave, but that concave is gone. MaxPax engaging this beautifully. One Colossus gets targeted down, but at the expense of that whole group of bio as the Zealots clean them up. And Clem suddenly down 20 supply as that fight went beautifully for MaxPax. Now he's forced to lift the 30s, losing SCVs. And I think MaxPax is just going to have too much. Clem very much on the defensive here. And MaxPax's 4th base is up and running. It's 71 probes to 56 SCVs. MaxPax going to try to get into the main base with a few Zealots in this Prism. There's really not much here for Clem. The Zealots are going to get right in, right on top of this. Viking might be able to kill that Prism, but at what cost? Nice movement of the Zealots there as well. MaxPax cleaning up those Widow Mines. Oh, there's DTs here now too? GG. DTs means GG. MaxPax. He knows how to close it out. When he's ahead, we saw him do the same thing against Kelzer. He gets those DTs in there. And it's one more thing for the Terran to deal with in a situation where they're already struggling so hard to deal with every little thing. The DTs, it's just one more layer. It's almost impossible to deal with at that stage. Clem was already pretty much down and out. The DTs just sealed it. Game number 2 is going to be on Gressvan. Players are ready. We are going to head on in. Yeah, MaxPax sure does like his blink openers, doesn't he? I mean, you can't blame him. Again, he's so good with the blink stalkers. It's really hard to, I don't know, it's really hard to emphasize it, because when you just watch a bunch of MaxPax, you're like, oh yeah, like blink stalkers seem really good. No. They are good, don't get me wrong. I think blink stalkers are excellent units. But in the hands of this guy, I gotta remember doing my introductions. In the hands of this guy, they're really something special. In the upper left of Gressvan, we've got MaxPax. And even against one of the strongest Terrans in the world, those stalkers just look mighty fine. In the lower right, we have Team Liquid's Clem. Yeah, I was kind of talking about it last series, but MaxPax's ability to use those blink stalkers it's like second to none, I think. I really don't think there's a Protoss player right now who can micro blink stalkers like that. Specifically the 4-gate against Terran, better than MaxPax. I genuinely think he's the best in the world at it. I don't even think that's really a bold statement. Maybe once upon a time, there were some players who had comparable blink stalker micro. Now it's like Hero. Hero's kind of the guy that could compete with them, but fortunately we've lost a lot of the highest level Protosses more recently. Hopefully we can get them back at some point, but for right now it's a dire situation for the Protoss. The lack of trap zest. Stats did just get into GSL, so I'm very hopeful we'll see the return of Stats. That would actually make Protoss feel powerful again. Stats might actually be able to do that. There's been a big lull in Protoss wins at the highest level. I mean, while I can't deny that I think maybe there is some sort of balance issue, I don't know if I feel as strongly about it as a lot of other people do. I think the reason we don't see as many Protoss at the highest level is because we don't have as many Protoss playing at the highest level as we did a year or two ago. And very specifically, MaxPax, he doesn't go to events. So any live event is missing one of the top 2 Protoss players in the world. That's painful. I just like, we don't have that issue with other races. You know, imagine if just Raynor just didn't go to events. I feel like Zerg would look a little bit worse as well. But I do miss our top Protoss. I miss Trap. SOS was so fun to watch. I know he still plays occasionally, but we really just don't see him very much. Stats will be nice to have back. Hopefully we can see some really good matches from him. I miss Zest quite a bit. It hurts. It hurts losing the Protosses. We used to have such a robust Protoss scene. Rain was a lot of fun too back in the day when he would play. Before he switched back to StarCraft 1. A little cheeky move from MaxPax. Gonna get a couple of SCV kills, but good cleanup there from Clem. Saves the third SCV and kills both of those Adepts. It is another blink play out of MaxPax. If it ain't broke, right? Right now it's gonna be 3 gates once again. It's interesting that he's been on the 3-gate tear instead of the 4-gate. Seems to be more up his alley. So I'm going to come in for the Widowmine drop. Wants to try to sneak into the natural, it looks like, but doesn't look like it's going to happen just yet. See if the Widowmine can get some damage on. It's only one Widowmine. Blink isn't quite done yet, but MaxPax seems to know this is here. He's prepared for it. He's ready. And Blink is going to finish, so that'll make it a lot easier to handle. The Reaper and Hellion going to dive into the natural. The Stalker's got to deal with it. The Medevac dives in. The Widowmine going to get a probe. It looks like 3 more going to fall on the low ground for a total of 4. The MaxPax is out here with the Stalkers in the Warp Prism. Clem, I mean, he knows what he's up against. He's got a second bunker here. It's now full of Marines. He's got a Raven out. Tank in the main base. Second tank on the way. Actually, both tanks are in the main right now. Stalker's going to come down here. Oh, the Raven. Ooh, the Raven. Down it goes. And that's a nice grab for MaxPax, who gets out of there with all 4 of those Stalkers after killing the Raven and 2 SCVs. Medevac coming home is really nice for Clem. Anything he can use right now with micro or even just to heal these units is going to be huge. Of course, the Observer here. Keep an eye on things. Oh, he's going to try to get on top of that tank, but there's the hot pickup micro from Clem. Gets that siege tank out of there, and that Medevac really coming into play immediately. MaxPax deciding, maybe I won't be able to get too much done this game. Try to hop into the main base, but Clem already rotating up here. Sees the blink up. Stamen combat shield's not super vulnerable, but definitely potential target for MaxPax, but there's 2 tanks covering them. I kind of forgot about this second tank. That tank is so important. And yet Clem with a beautiful defense here. Oh, Medevac? Medevac gets spotted by the Stalker. Oh no, and it goes down. It was such a good Medevac too. MaxPax, of course, in the meantime, has his 3rd base up and running. He's ahead quite a few workers this game. Remember last game, Clem actually killed a bunch of probes right at the start of the blink attack. And that put him in a pretty good spot. This game, no such probe damage. I mean, he did get a couple of probes earlier on, but it was too early on and not nearly as much damage to really matter at this point. Now MaxPax is just way ahead. 3rd base of Clem is so far away from being done and on location and mining. It's gonna be 100 years before that happens. And MaxPax, in the meantime, has a 4th base on the way. He's got Colossi coming out. Thermal Lance is being created. +1 is about the same place for both players, so that will equalize. Clem is up in army supply. That's the one thing he has going for him. He's ahead in army supply. He's got these tanks out as well. Tanks can be very, very good. MaxPax, I mean, it's just exactly what he does every single time. We've seen this so much today. He's got the prism with the zealots in it, and the moment he sees the move out with the stalkers, he's ready to go in with that prism. There it goes. But Clem on point. The Viking in position to deal with this. And the prism's forced to recall. Suddenly there's 3 zealots out on the field doing nothing. MaxPax trying to find this army, but it is rotating around the south side. He's going to be able to pick off maybe a couple of units here and there. A couple of reinforcements. Oh, this Colossus feeling a little bit on its own. The tanks are going to get a beautiful siege up position. A lot of Widow Mines getting burrowed as well. Getting some great connections. A little bit of friendly fire on the bio. The bio pulls back. It's going to expose these tanks. The tanks will go down. And now it's just the bio. The stalkers joining up. And there's just too much here from MaxPax. That attack looked so promising from Clem. But MaxPax just seems to hold it with ease. It was too late out of Clem. MaxPax had the Colossi out, he had the charge lots, and he handled that fight beautifully. Didn't let anything escape him. He knew what he was up against, and he was ready for it. It's hard, man. It's hard to see what Clem's going to do. How do you deal with this? I hope he can show us. I want to see Clem stop the 3-gate blink. Do something. I need to see something. Let's see. Well, you know what? Clem won last week, and he won the week before. So he's been on a bit of a tear against MaxPax. Not in this series. Not this week, though. Let's hop on into game number 3. We're up on match point already. Is the Blue Protoss for Psystorm Gaming? He is MaxPax. His opponent, the upper right-hand corner for Team Liquid, it's the Red Terran, Clem. I love this bear. I love this bear so much. I don't think I'll ever get tired of seeing that cute little dude. I hope Clem never leaves the Malem clan. For a little while, he was playing on an account that didn't have that, and I was so sad. And now that it's back, I'm so happy. Yeah, I kind of wonder how last week went. You know, what does Clem do to be able to take these wins? Because right now, it's feeling, I don't know, it's feeling rough. Game 1 especially, Clem had the advantage, but it just feels like once he moves across the map, MaxPax just has too much. Even in that last game, Clem was able to completely thwart the Warp Prism play. But his army still just got cleaned up. I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll let Clem teach us. Man, probes are so annoying. That being said, maybe MaxPax will go for a different strategy. Maybe he will, or maybe he just won't. I mean, why go for a different strategy if your strategy works? As I said at the start of last game, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Maybe this is just going to be a practice session for Clem. How to deal with 3-gate blink. As long as nobody kills the Tastalope or the Artosalope. I can't believe Gabe would do such a thing. I wish I knew which one it was. I think it's the Artosalope. I think that's the one that usually hangs out closer to this base. I can't believe that Gabe would do such a thing, though. Just like I can't believe that MaxPax would do such a thing as proxy a gateway. What a cheeky boy. No, right now, no Twilight Council or anything, so it is just going to be a straight up 3-gate push. 3-gate pressure out of MaxPax. Clem looks like he's doing a pretty similar opening to what he's been doing. Just Reaper, in the meantime, being annoying. I like seeing all the probes chase it. It will go down to that Adept. The question is, did Clem get to scout what was happening here? At least he gets a slight scout. The big thing is he sees no tech. And that's got to be mildly confusing, right? Like, where is your tech? What are you doing? Oh, the Hellion's going to go out. It's going to not necessarily see this proxy, but it is going to see 3 Adepts coming in, a 4th one shading through as well. Oh my god, even a 5th one shading through. Oh no! The SCV stopped the depot from going up, and just the Adepts just walk into the main. They didn't even have to do anything to get up here. Cyclone will pop out. The Adepts will just shade away. 3 SCVs going down. Not the end of the world just yet for Clem. It's not over yet. This proxy is still here. There's Stalkers to join up with this now. The Adept going to shade on top of the Cyclones. They will kill that Cyclone. Bunker doing its job here, holding strong, but 7 SCVs going down. MaxPax getting some huge damage at the start of this game. SCV's coming up to fight now. Not super good against the Adepts, but the auto turret and the Marines on the high ground and the low ground helping quite a bit. MaxPax escapes with a couple units, joins up with the 3 fresh Stalkers that were warped in, and he is just getting so much damage. Clem down to 27 workers. He might be able to hold on against this early game pressure, but at what cost? Oh, the tank. Oh, the tank goes down. And GG gets called. There's just not enough army there for Clem and MaxPax. Cleans Clem up in game 3. Like he's just any other Terran. Just clobbers him. My god. MaxPax killed everybody today in... It just took no time. He was winning matches earlier in like 8 minutes. I can't believe he finished Clem off in game 3 in a 5-minute game. That is wild. Absolutely wild. MaxPax feeling it today. Absolutely feeling it today. And he will take the win in the EU Open Cup.